Hey everybody, it's Frankie-Lou. I'm coming to you today from the greenhouse in the sky here in Golden, BC, our 4th season geothermal greenhouse, where I'm going to do a little bit of seed saving today. It's early days, we're in mid-July here in Golden, BC, but I do have some seeds that look like they are ready to be harvested. If you haven't harvested seeds before, this is something you might want to consider doing for multiple reasons. Food sovereignty by taking control of some of your seed production and being able to grow things to fruition and use your seeds from last year. You're going to be less reliant on an industry that's trying to reduce the diversity of the seeds that are available to us. Number 2, better quality. The seeds that I harvest, I find, particularly volunteer seeds, which are seeds that have come up that I didn't even plant, when I harvest from those plants and from the plants that are the best plants in my garden, I do end up having far more hardy, resistant plants. Like for instance, the marigolds that I planted from my own seeds this year are much more productive than the marigolds and resilient than the marigolds that I bought at a greenhouse this year. So what are some of the things that you need to seed save? Well, number 1 is patience. A lot of people want to deadhead everything and they want to make everything look pretty. But I've always said that if you want to seed save, the number 1 thing that you have to do is let it get ugly. Yep, in order to seed save, you have to allow your plants to have their complete life cycle. They have to bolt, they have to flower, the flowers have to bloom, they have to be pollinated, they have to produce seeds, and they have to start drying out. So yeah, a seed-saving garden looks very, very different than a tidy little garden with beautiful blooms that are always going. When you allow your plants to complete their life cycle and start producing seeds, they will produce less blooms at that point because they have created what they needed to do, which is seeds, so that they can go on. But I find for myself that second harvest, the harvest after we've taken the fruit and we've eaten the fruit and the vegetables, the harvest of the seeds from the flowers is addictive. Once you get started on this, you will, I'm sure it's something that you will continue to do. It's amazing how much seed can be produced from one plant. That's another thing that in my teaching capacity with children, they're always amazed when I show them, this is one plant, how many seeds do you think it produced? And when we're looking at things like herbals like catnip or chervil, thousands and thousands of seeds can be reproduced from one plant that was produced with one seed. So that's kind of cool too. Now over here, what I have here is probably the number 1 tool that you can use. Today I'm going to be harvesting chive seeds. I'm going to place the chive heads in one of these bags. This is a zippered produce bag, nice and lightweight, but allows for airflow because I do want my seeds to be able to dry fully. And this way I can keep it contained, I can keep it zipped up so I'm not losing anything while it dries. Once my seeds have dried, I then will transfer them if they require threshing, which is something I'll show you when I do some later on in the season. When I get to do some radish seeds, I'll do some threshing for you. And removing the chaff is the seed pod, the dried seed pod that surrounds the seed. But for chives, it's super easy. So I thought this was a good start. Today, I'm going to now show you my beautiful chives. And yes, they're ugly right now, but they're not ugly to me because now I know I can harvest these wonderful seeds for them. So if you look in here, see, you can actually see the seeds in the chive flowers. They were beautiful flowers. But I always want to make sure that I save some of those chive flowers for seeds. So this isn't rocket science. This is pretty easy. You want to snap off the head. Whoops. You want to snap off your seed heads. Place them in the baggie. Right. I've got my little seed head there in the bottom of my baggie. And I'll keep working at this, and then I'll show you what we end up with in the end. I'm just going to keep going along. These seed heads are a little wet today because I wasn't thinking, and I did water before I did this. But today's the only day I have to do this, so it's got to be done now. And I'll be back in a minute. Okay, as you can see, I've got lots of little dried out chive seed heads there in my bag. If I shake, you can see actually some of the seeds are becoming loosened already. But I will zip this up and let it dry and hang for about a week before I attempt to remove the rest of the seeds, which I will do by banging this bag against a hard surface, taking out the dried heads, and gathering all the wonderful little black seeds from the bottom, which I will. Once I've harvested all these wonderful little black seeds, I'm going to store them in a coin paper bag, one of those little baggies for coins, because I do find that this is the best way to reduce the humidity that could be trapped in the seeds. If I haven't dried them out fully, then putting them in that paper bag is going to allow for them to complete drying. If I store them in plastic, I might trap some of the humidity, and then we're going to get some mold, which is one thing that we definitely don't want to happen with our nice little seeds. And I'm also going to be sure to label them well, because I do tend to store thousands of seeds every year, and it's amazing how quickly you can forget what it is that you got in each of these little baggies. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you'll give it a try. I will continue to make seed saving videos along with all the other ones to give you some ideas, because what we're doing is a simple flower saving video. It's a different situation where we're dealing with things like squash and tomatoes, etc. So I'll do videos on that as well. And I hope you'll give it a try. It's a lot of fun, and it's a very, very rewarding way to make your harvest go further into next year, next season even, and to share that bounty with more people, because one plant can produce lots of seeds that you can share with your friends and family, and they can get started on this wonderful journey as well. I hope you'll visit us again soon at the Greenhouse in the Sky, and as always, I hope you'll take this chance to grow together today. Have a good one.